we're tasting champagne, the celebratory wine that we all know and love. I have here a Brut Classic Champagne from the region of Champagne in France. It's called Jean Noël Hatton. You may have wondered what the difference is between champagne and sparkling wine. Champagne is a sparkling wine, but not all sparkling wine is champagne. Is that a bit confusing? Well, champagne is specific to one region in France. Sparkling wine can be made around the world using any grape and any fruit. Champagne, on the other hand, can only be made in Champagne, France. That may sound a bit fancy, but champagne is actually a very interesting process and it's made with intent from those winemakers. So calling it champagne is more a respect to that region and the difficulty that goes into making this beautiful wine. There are strict laws in the process of making champagne, and that includes the grapes that are used for this wine and how long it's bottled for before it's sold. Everything is done by hand when making this wine, and it takes years to produce, which is why when you look for champagne, it tends to be very expensive. There are many different names used to describe a sparkling wine. For example, in Spain, they call their sparkling wine cava, and I'll be exploring that wine in a future video. The first thing you'll notice in a champagne wine is, of course, the bubbles. Bubbles will say a lot about the quality of the wine. A nice bottle of champagne will have more bubbles and they'll be smaller and smoother. You'll see here how the bubbles rise to the top, and you'll also see the very light golden color of this wine. It's reminiscent of a white wine, but I do see it a little more golden with, of course, a lot more bubbles. Next, we'll swirl the wine, of course, releasing those aromas specific to the champagne. I'm gonna do it very lightly, and doing so, you'll see the bubbles quickly rising to the top. Right away, you're gonna get notes of apple, vanilla, and citrus, perhaps some almond, which is common in the champagne, or you might even get the sensation of burnt toast, which can be a very specific characteristic for champagne. When tasting a champagne, you're going to notice right away the high acidity in this wine. It's dry to the palate. Similar to what we smelled, you're gonna get hints of apple and citrus. Perhaps it'll remind you a bit of a cheese rind or almonds. The biggest question is, what does champagne pair well with? It goes deliciously with anything fried, crispy, and salty. Anything greasy will help break up this wine, especially because of its high acidity and dryness to the palate. Raw bars and charcuterie boards are great as well, especially if you're celebrating a big day. For dishes, anything with mushrooms in it, something creamy is great. Think about Italian foods as well, so marinara pastas are really good with this wine. For cheeses, Parmesan, Gouda, and cheddar are great. Sharp cheeses are really good, again, to help break up the bubbles in the wine. And for the best part, desserts, anything light and airy is great with this wine. So a yeast donut, angel food cake, or even a classic cheesecake is ideal. Let me know in the comments below what occasion you're drinking champagne for, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more weekly wine tasting videos. If you're looking for another unique and delicious wine to try, click the video here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!